Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Embody Your Empress. For those of you joining us once again, or if you're brand new here, welcome for the first time. I'm Sarah King, the host of Embody Your Empress and founder of Empress Nation, the place you want to be if you're a woman who is open to new perspectives, expanding their mind, very passionate about personal growth, and loving the world that you live in. Today, we have a beautiful guest, Samantha Bell. Welcome.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, wow, I'm so excited to hear more about your passion and purpose in life. You have founded something called the Courageous Girls Club, and you are really just passionate about supporting the younger generation coming through and the amazing woman that they can be. So tell us about yourself, Sam.
Well, I'm originally from the UK. Me and my husband and two boys, we emigrated in 2019, right before COVID hit. So we were cut off, like literally from our friends and family. But I think that helped us settle into our new community on Bribey Island really quickly because if we can cast our minds back to that time, as terrifying as it was, and we have lots of memories about how unfair it was, there was also a real coming together, I think, of people in those early days. So for us as strangers on this little island, I have very fond memories of it because we settled in so quickly and we made new friends and realized that, family is who you make it.
That's a beautiful thing to always remember, isn't it? Family is who you make it. Wonderful. And so coming from there, what sparked the interest or the idea or the purpose of creating something for our young generation of women coming through?
It's a really interesting story because I feel like it was a subconscious thing that drew me to where I am now. So I've been self-employed under lots of guises pretty much all my life. I've been a line dance teacher, I've been a ballet teacher, I've been a personal stylist, I've helped small businesses with their marketing. And when we moved to Bribey, I actually taught ballet for a year again post pandemic. And then I found myself pretty lost and not knowing what I was going to do next. And then it was a chance advert on Facebook that said, train to be a girls' empowerment workshop facilitator, that I was just really drawn to. And I had no real inkling of what that even meant, but something about it really drew me. And I ignored it several times, but the algorithm kept putting it in front of me. And eventually I said, yeah, let's do this. And the idea originally was to run some school workshops some holiday workshops outside of school for girls around self-confidence and resilience, and that training included a lot of those ideas for how to run those workshops. But I chose to run it as an after school club, the same as you would come to a dance class or a karate class, you come to an empowerment class. And so the Courageous Girls Club was born, and it started with 8 young girls, aged 7 to 11, and we gathered at my home around my dining table, and we had a 10-week term of all things confidence, growth mindset, dealing with friendships, resilience. And that really was the start of the Courageous Girls Club, but I still had no idea what it would become back then. It was something that I did in addition to other things, just from my home.
Beautiful. And what has it expanded into now?
So now I don't run it from my home anymore. I actually run 8 clubs, and I've started working in schools this year. And I've also got two licensees. So, two beautiful women have felt the calling themselves and joined me. So, there's also Courageous Girls Club in Noosa and Courageous Girls Club north of Sydney. So, these two women have um, seen my vision and co-created it really, and tested my marketing methods for how to recruit girls and fill a club, and of course they've worked. And then they teach my content as well, so we're expanding. But I had no idea back in the first club that that's what would happen. I think it became evident how important this was um, when I entered a competition through an organization called Business and Professional Women, BPW, and they had an innovator competition for International Women's Day. And again, it was it was a random. There was an advert on Facebook, and I thought, oh, that sounds good. So it was calling out female business owners to enter this competition, and you could win mentoring and some cash prizes. And I I entered really like without giving it a lot of thought. I was just like, oh yeah, let's see what happens. And then I made it through to the final. And as part of being a finalist, I actually got training, a workshop on how to pitch your business. And then the four finalists had to go to this big gala dinner and pitch their business in front of a panel of judges and a room full of people. So there was I previously kind of, just running a couple of little clubs from my house, and it was all very lovely, to suddenly being in this situation of explaining what it is and the power of what it does. And it was the reaction of those people in that room that made me take stock and go, oh my God, this is really important and this really matters. And I think that was the turning point of going, oh, okay, this is not just about me and doing a nice little thing. This is actually really, really special, and lots of people need this. So that was the start of the growth of the Courageous Girls Club. And
Mm.
earlier on, you asked me how I came to be doing this work, and it's interesting. It's only this year that I feel like I joined up the dots myself. So when I was a girl, I was bullied a lot. I was bullied from age 6 to 26. So that bullying continued in the workplace. And that's when I went my own way and started setting up my own business, because it was a way to protect myself, I guess, from everybody knows that kind of bitchy, nasty, mean girl spirit that can happen, that you think is going to stop when you're an adult, but it doesn't. And I learned a lot about bullying, and I learned really to keep my mouth shut because I didn't want to be a target anymore. And
Mm.
it was years later, when I was a personal stylist, that I was working with women, and I was having a conversation with a web designer, and she was asking me about my business, and she said, oh my goodness, Sam, you really love women, don't you? And I was really shocked, because I went, no, I hate women. But oh my God. So then I found myself going, oh my God, what's going on? Like, I do hate women. No, I don't hate women. But I had learned to hate the feeling that women can create in you. But my work as a personal stylist meant that I worked with a lot of women who were telling me their stories about how they felt now as grown women, and the messages that they'd received as children. And it made me realize that behind every mean girl is just a girl who has learned to grow some armor to protect herself, to survive what she thinks she needs to survive. And underneath every single mean girl, underneath every single bully, is a woman who just needs to be loved. And the way she's learned to deal with that is to, steal the light from somebody else or make somebody else feel bad. And that realization was huge, that actually that's exactly why I'm doing this work, because I had so much relentless bullying, but I'd also in other work learned to forgive those bullies and have empathy for those bullies. And then that stands me in really good stead to create something where we teach young girls that they don't need to steal the light from anybody else. If they actually lift other girls and help them shine brighter, it means that they shine brighter too. And if we live in a world like that, well, you can imagine it's going to change for the better.
Mm, absolutely, absolutely. You said before that it matters, and it does matter so much, especially as a mother of a 9-year-old daughter right now, the things that you start to think about. Are you finding that there's more emphasis placed on it from the parent side or from the girls' side themselves?
it's it's twofold. So the girls absolutely need to learn some skills
Mm,
because we don't teach girls how to make friends, what to look for in a good friendship, or how to deal with friendships when they go a bit wrong. And we live in a really fast paced world, and girls get very little chance to just be themselves. Then
mm,
on the other side of that, we've got mums and dads who are doing their best. They love their kids, they're trying to do all of the right things, but they're inadvertently robbing them of opportunities to grow resilience and to figure things out because we're trying to keep them so safe. We're actually overprotective. We're keeping them in the house instead of letting them go out for independent play. We're putting them in front of screens instead of letting them go and explore their neighborhood. And so it's really both things. It's parents and it's young girls. So if we can have the young girls in the clubs being taught all of these things, and if we can educate parents as well, we're
mhm.
going to do good things.
Fantastic. I love it. When you were talking before about the armor that the bullies put on to hide that wounded part of their hearts, does that connect back to as adults? A lot of women are still like very much in their masculine swing of things. Like, is that part of that bullying armor? Because when I think of, like, to be really stereotypical, like movies that portray bullies, even the girl bullies are very masculine and bring that masculine energy to it. Do you see any connection to that?
Absolutely. And it goes back to what do people need to do in order to survive? And I think women, as um, if you go back to when we lived in caves, generically, um, men went out and hunted, women stayed home and looked after the rest of the tribe. We were the communicators. And as such, we're the ones that pay much more attention to body language, facial expressions, communications. We are much we are the first ones to adapt ourselves and compromise ourselves often for the good of everybody else. And so it's no surprise that women do tap into their masculine energy to survive, to thrive. And I definitely remember it seems absurd sometimes because I'm 47 and I remember being at high school, secondary school in the UK, and we had a visit from a man where we had this whole careers evening, and lots of different people came from different career paths to try and help us decide what we wanted to do. And there was a man who was trying to tell me to get into construction. Um, and I said, "Oh, I don't want to get my hands dirty." And he said, "You'll get your hands dirty changing nappies." Like,
Ah, well, he's not wrong.
he's not wrong, but it was like, is that my choice? Is that all it's construction or nappies? You know? So I think we would, my age group definitely were part of a generation where there was much more focus on trying to make women equal in the workplace and encourage women into the more traditionally male jobs and things like that. But nobody ever stopped and said, but how are they going to do that when they are also the main caretaker of children, of older parents, all that kind of thing? So we were kind of told, you can have it all and you must want it all, but we're not going to tell you how to achieve all of those things. And we'll make it really hard for you. And so, yeah, women have tapped into that masculine energy.
Absolutely. Yes, you must want it all, and you will burn yourself out in the process because there's no resources, there's no structure to support anyone. And if you don't want it, then you're like anti-feministic. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a social implosion. Like, oh, get me started on this, Sam. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. The
Uh-huh.
expectation of women now, and I love to just strip it all back and forget about what everyone else places on you, on your shoulders, and bring it back to what we want, what we desire. And if you want to be juggling all of the balls in the air at once, go for it. Structure it so that you've got support as you do it. And if you want to pick one area and really focus in on that, that is also beautiful as well. And I believe that you can be a strong woman in leadership and in business and still very much in your feminine. And I would love to see more of that in our businesses and our governments and supporting women in their feminine ruling because we are so good at it. We are
Yeah.
so good at it, and yet we've been talked out of it. So yeah, that's my little Sarah rant for the day.
I love it.
And,
I love it. But
yeah.
it's interesting on that point. So I run a holiday workshop in the summer called Unstoppable Girls, and I invite a panel of women to come in. And the first time I ran it, I wanted to give the girls a really good overview of what being an adult woman is like. And so I made sure that there was a stay at home mum. I made sure there was a working mum who actually came breastfeeding her child, talking about her job as a lawyer. You know, I made sure that there were women who had chosen not to have children, a woman who in her 50s had requalified as a high school teacher, you know, to just to give a balanced view, a real view to these young girls. These are the things that you can do, and the path that your school will set you on isn't the only path.
It isn't the part, and it's not our lifetime path. Like, I remember being at high school and it was the be all and end all. And yet you leave there and it is your stepping stone to your next adventure and your next one and your next one. Um, I still see young kids and the pressure that they put themselves under or is placed around them, probably and placed around them, to decide their whole entire future with a couple of years of schooling and studying. And yet, when we take a step back and we realize how beautifully long our life can be, and that you can reinvent yourself so many times and follow so many different passions. Like, I've had so many different careers. Like, my daughter's like, oh my gosh, you've done so many things. And I'm like, I know, and I'm only just turned 40. Like, what's next? Like, um, so yeah, there are so many things that we can take the expectation of. Again, it's having to have it all figured out as a young person. And then I guess we're setting them up for failure because life changes and evolves. And sometimes it's in our control and sometimes it's not. So, what kind of benefits do the girls at the club do they walk away with from week 1 to week 10? What's their growth evolution looking like?
So, first of all, I think one of the things it's worth pointing out with Courageous Girls Club is it isn't a one and done program. So, I've got girls that have been coming from the very first group, and the group has evolved with them. So, it started off with girls aged 7 to 12. I now actually work with girls 6 to 16 because I've got some girls that have been with me. So, I've done 13 terms of Courageous Girls Club, and I've got some girls that have come pretty much since that first one. But a new girl coming in, she might be coming because mum and dad have identified she needs some help with something, usually social skills or confidence and speaking up. We make it really fun, so we have lots of games and craft and role play and things like that. So she's coming to a fun activity, but we're talking about very real things. We are talking about friendship dramas, and we are talking about how to bounce back when things don't go your way. So we're equipping girls with the skills and the tools that they need to navigate life. And if we take bouncing back as an example, so we'll make it really fun. I've got some plastic eggs and bouncy balls, and we talk about whether you're going to bounce back or whether you're going to splat on the floor. And we give them phrases that they can trot out. So when they find themselves in that experience, you're like, oh, I didn't get picked for the whatever it is at school. They've got some things that they can rely on, that they've covered, that they know. Because a bit like when you learn to drive, it's about repetition. And when we give girls the repetitive things to say and do, it prepares them for when it does happen in real life, rather than them going, oh my goodness, I didn't get picked and now I feel really sad and I don't know what to do with this emotion. And mom and dad are around them going, oh, it's all right, it doesn't matter. But they're looking at them with a really sad face, you know, so the words don't match the face. You're telling
Mm-hmm.
me it's all right, but you look devastated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we're giving them those things to go, it's okay to feel sad. It's normal to feel sad, but we're not gonna get stuck in that emotion. So what can we do differently next time? Can we
Mm.
try harder? Can we try a different thing? Can we talk to somebody about it? Can we eat a bar of chocolate and just feel better?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yeah, of
I
course
love
we can.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the kind of things that happen, and we do also have um, parents that have brought their girls because there might have been something going on within the family. There might have been some kind of trauma that they just feel um, their girls need a little bit of support. That's not therapy. That's not that one-on-one talking it out thing. But it's a positive environment. And if they choose to, they can share their stories with the group and feel supported.
So beautiful. And these tools, these experiences that you're giving these girls, these are lifetime tools.
They are.
Like they are going to take them into adulthood and beyond. And then it'll be multi generational. And there's such a gift to give.
Exactly.
I love that. I always say that, like when we're talking about like spiritual practices, don't just do them once and I think everything's great right now. Keep practicing the practices so that when you're feeling low, when you really need to lean in on them, it has that muscle memory. You're not
Yes.
just trying to learn it for the first time. You have it ingrained in you. You know you're turning straight there. You know exactly how it's going to lift you up. You know exactly how to explore what you need for that moment when you need it.
Yes.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to give and to be able to talk about. Because I can imagine as a mum that these girls are not just talking about it within their group. When their confidence grows, they're taking home these skills, they're talking about it with their mums, with their fathers, with their siblings. They're actually educating them, they're showing their confidence, they're expanding their emotional intelligence in a way that empowers them first. And that's beyond a gift.
It's incredible, and I love it when the girls tell me what they've done. So I had a girl just a few weeks ago who she is very quiet and she does get overwhelmed, I think, by lots of people, and I think sometimes she might be underestimated because she is so quiet. But we were having a chat the other day, and she was telling me about her friend at school that she'd said, "No, you must stop saying bad things about yourself. Say something good immediately." And I was thrilled because that's exactly what we've done, you know, with her and her group. That practice of saying something positive about yourself. And she's taken that into school and passed it on to another girl.
Oh my gosh. That is enough to spark a ripple effect. That is enough to change. And also there's a part of me that is a little bit sad that we're still having to have that conversation. Like
Yeah,
we're still having to say, stop saying horrible things to ourselves. Because sometimes I feel like with my messages that I share to people, I'm like, oh, people have heard it 1,000 times, and yet I'm called to share it again. Like it comes channeled through, and this is just validation. Why? Because we need to keep spreading these messages, educating people, leading by example. Because I pull myself up on it too. Nobody is perfect, but together collectively we can embrace the side of ourselves that is loving and compassionate and unconditional and without judgment. Like I believe as humans we can get there.
absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, it takes work and it does take practice and repetition. Yes.
Mm, absolutely. Wonderful. Great. And are there any future plans for the Courageous Girls Club?
I would like to see a Courageous Girls Club in every town across Australia, um, across the world, because it's needed, because
Mhm.
it's so important. And I sometimes I feel like the world our kids live in is on fire and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. And it's a it's a big deal. It's a big thing to talk about. I know we talk about school, we talk about social media, we talk about technology, we talk about families. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. But our little people are dealing with so much, so much. And a lot of parents are looking for alternatives. I see that homeschooling is significantly on the rise. diagnoses of things like ASD, ADHD are on the rise. Divorce rates are on the rise. Everything is on the rise, but nothing seems to be making life easier for our little people. And my particular interest is the girls, despite being a boy mum, um, because I think they need something different than this. I think they still need something, but a different thing. Um, so yeah, this needs to be in every town because it's not going to happen on its own. It's
Mm.
nobody's speaking up, nobody's saying anything. Little pockets of people maybe, but the people to suffer are our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. The ones that are harder to hear,
Yeah,
harder to see.
absolutely. So my view, because as a very passionate entrepreneur, as somebody who has reinvented themselves several times with different businesses, I'm also super passionate about women running their own business because I feel that that is one way that women can have it all because they can create their own income flexibly around whatever commitments they might have or choose to have. And the idea that other women like me can run Courageous Girls Club and have a huge impact on their community and the world whilst making a living, whilst being a mum, whilst being a wife, whatever they want to be, that to me is the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. So if anyone out there is listening right now and goes, right, I want to put one in my suburb, they can reach out, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Fantastic. I would love, if you do, I would love to hear about that. Come on, all you beautiful listeners out there. I know there are so many heart centered women who are just going, yep, we need that around here. So reach out. Sam is very approachable. She's not going to bite, and she wants to see this spread worldwide. Oh, fantastic. All right, Sam, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
How do you embody your empress?
Oh, this is such a good question. So I do take a moment to stop and think, how do I need to um how do I need to be to get through this next thing? And there is something about being the empress that makes you sit a little taller and take a breath and look at everything around you and deciding what can be let go of, what can be delegated, and also what do I need. And so I feel that's really what it is. And that every time I take that breath and just hold myself a little taller, I feel like I get some distance from what I'm looking at and the work that I'm doing. And
Mhm.
it helps me gain clarity.
That is so beautiful. Yeah. What a great reminder, too. Great reminder. All right. What does your empress energy feel like for you?
Oh my gosh, I just got it there. I get tingles down the back of my neck and down into my spine, and my hands get tingly.
Perfect power running through.
Yeah, and very
Love.
often I get that same feeling when I know that I'm doing the right things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it just comes as a little woo.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love that. Um, my one of my like just say it, like hearing that, I'm like, I wish one day everyone knows what that feeling's like. They are so open to it because it's always there. It's just being open to it. That yes, that nudge forward, that yes, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And what are your parting words of wisdom for inspiring your nation?
Oh my goodness. I just have to, it's my favorite quote, and it is, a candle loses nothing in lighting another candle.
That could literally be the theme for the business, right?
Yeah,
It's what you're teaching those girls.
absolutely. And I think we forget that
Mm,
it doesn't take anything away from us.
it doesn't. It enhances, or if anything, it enhances. The light enhances.
Yeah.
The ripples are out there. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on today, Sam. It has been a pleasure learning more about the Courageous Girls Club and like those girls that are joining you, the special girls, like they're going to be the leaders of their generation. They're going to be so well equipped and like they're already going out and sharing these beautiful messages with their peers, around them and their families. So amazing work you are doing in the world.
Thank you, Sarah.
You are welcome. If anyone wants to connect, all the links are in the show notes. So go and follow along with Sam and follow the journey and reach out if this is something that calls to you and you're interested in bringing to your local area as well.